In the state of Georgia, let's say, for example, and this is a question from Maria and Dom in Dunwoody. It says, we're supposed to close on Tuesday, and our lender informed us that an extra 4 days is needed. The seller is refusing to extend the closing. What are our options? I would imagine that if you, as a buyer, realized you couldn't close on schedule, but you had done everything you could to be ready to close. You had given the lender all of the information. You had paid for everything when they said it needed to be paid for. And then the lender says to you, uh-oh, I need 4 additional days. That could put a buyer in a very, very bad position. And I can't imagine how stuck or frustrated they would feel if they were in that position. In the state of Georgia, believe it or not, we have some very particular relief for a buyer in that exact situation. But how does that happen in Texas? If the lender's supposed to close on, let's just say it's supposed to close on the 30th, and it is now the 29th, and the lender says, no, I'm going to need 4 additional days after I thought we were supposed to close.
There's the perception and the belief of the contract dates are very black and white.
Right.
Reality is that the law allows for it to not be so black or white.
Okay.
So if it is something beyond anyone's real control, then that grace period comes in.
Okay.
So if you ever got to the point of going to court, which we all want to avoid that.
Of course.
So if you ever got to the point of going to court, that would be a factor that the courts would take into consideration was, did the buyer intentionally?
Were you neglectful?
Right. Did they intentionally hold this up? Or if this was something beyond their control, then the contract still stands.
Exactly. So in Georgia, believe it or not, the buyer, if the loan is not ready to close due to no fault of the buyer, and the seller, if the closing is not ready to take place due to some type of title issue that is outside of the seller's control, then both parties have the right to unilaterally, in the agreement, unilaterally, meaning without the permission of the other side, issue a notice and extend the closing for up to 8 days.
Oh!
And they never had that in the past, Tammie. Before that, I mean, buyers would get their back up against the wall, and sellers, I've seen sellers be almost abusive in that situation, trying to take advantage of a buyer who, through no fault of their own, couldn't get it closed. And so it is 8-day unilateral extension on both sides. So you just send notice, send it over, the closing is automatically extended for up to 8 days.